Creating a WebUI connection between a Windows 10 Office computer and your Trimble R8s receiver. So why would you want a WebUI connection with your R8s? A couple of reasons there. You can use the WebUI to configure settings inside the R8s, such as automatic data logging, auto basing. You can add option codes through the WebUI, and you can also update the firmware through the WebUI. Now, like I said, this tutorial deals with Windows 10, and you also need a computer that has Bluetooth in order to connect. And what we're actually going to do is create a modem that will connect through a web browser and allow us to configure the R8s. To start with, in Windows 10, down at the bottom, click the up arrow to show the hidden icons, and then click Bluetooth devices. Click add a Bluetooth device, and make sure that your R8s is turned on and within about 10 or 15 feet of the computer so that it can find it via Bluetooth. Click add Bluetooth or other device, then click Bluetooth. Now your computer will start searching for available Bluetooth devices, and usually within 10-15 seconds it'll find your R8s. Click on the receiver, and then when prompted for a pin, add 4 zeros, so 0000, and click connect. Once it pops up and says your device is ready to go, then you're all set up, you're paired up via Bluetooth. If for some reason you get a message saying it was unable to connect, then a lot of times, or if it couldn't find your R8s, a lot of times if you'll reboot your computer and power cycle the R8s, it'll find it the next time. Once we're done there, we'll click done at the bottom, and then we'll close this window. Next, in the search window of Windows 10, type control panel. And once you start typing control, it should come up in the list. Choose the control panel to open it up. And the first thing we're going to do is click devices and printers. And down here, usually under unspecified, you should find your R8s in the list. Left click on it, then right click and choose properties. And then click the services tab at the top. Once that tab populates, you'll see that you have 3 serial ports showing up. Uncheck the box for the first 2, and the third one that says serial port SPP COM3, look to the right of there and make a note of what COM number this is. It's usually not going to match up with COM3. Sometimes it will, but in this case it's COM9. Make a note of that because we're going to need to use that to actually connect up later on. Click OK. And then we can click the back button up at the top left. The next thing we'll need to do is set up a phone and modem. So click phone modem, then click the modem tab at the top and click add. Check the box for don't detect my modem. I'll select it from a list and click next. Then choose communication cable between 2 computers, and we are using Bluetooth, but this is the choice that we need to choose. So then click next, and then make sure the box is checked for selected ports, and this is where we need that COM port that we just wrote down a minute ago. So choose COM9 in this case. It's probably not going to be COM9 with you, so whatever yours comes up as, choose that. Click next. And then Windows is going to go ahead and set up your modem. Once the modem is set up, click Finish, and then click OK. Now we'll click the Network and Sharing Center and choose Set up a new connection or network. Select Connect to the Internet and click Next. If you're already connected to the Internet via Wi-Fi or a wired connection in the office, it's going to pop up warning you that you're already connected to the Internet. So select Set up a new connection anyway. Make sure you check the box for no create a new connection, and then click Next. Choose dial-up, and go ahead and put a phone number in. For this, we're just going to put in the number 1. Windows requires something for the phone number. 1's just going to be a placeholder that we delete later. You don't need a username or a password. For the connection name, you can leave it as dial-up connection. If you are going to connect to multiple receivers, it's handy to put in, I like to put in the model and then the last 4 of the serial number, which in this case is 0513. And that way I know it's an R8s I'm connecting to and which one I'm actually connecting up to. Then click connect and immediately click skip. You don't need to actually connect up. So then choose close. And once that closes, go to change adapter settings. You'll see your R8s in the list. So right click and go to properties. And go ahead and highlight that phone number 1, backspace it out to delete it, and click on OK. Then we'll use the back arrow to go back into the Network and Sharing Center. And the next thing we want to do is down here at the bottom of the screen towards the right where your connections are for Wi-Fi or for the internet, left click that icon, and now you should see your modem in the list up here at the top. So I'll left click on the R8. So then I'll left click on the R8 and choose connect. When this dialog box pops up, you don't need to fill out a username, a password, or a dial. Just hit the dial button down here at the bottom. And it'll go ahead and open up the port to your R8 and connect via Bluetooth modem to the R8. So once that's been connected, you can close this window. And now you'll see in the Network and Sharing Center that we have our Wi-Fi network or your wired network, but you also have the R8s showing up in the list. So left click here on the blue hyperlink for the R8s and then click the details box. Make a note of the IPv4 DNS server, in this case 192.168.100 and 170. Again, this is not going to be the case for you. It'll probably be another IP address, but write this down. This is what we're going to use to actually connect up to the R8s. So I'll hit close here, close again, and now I'll just open up a web browser. In this case, I'm using Firefox, but you can use whatever you want there, and type in that IP address. 192.168.100.170, then hit the enter key, and it'll go ahead and open up a connection with our R8s. Now it's going to ask you for a username and password. By default, the username is admin, all lowercase, and the password is password, all lowercase. Now, if you have a newer version of software, the first time you log in, it will prompt you to update your password, and you'll have to change it to something other than the default password there. But go ahead and type in admin, all lowercase, password, all lowercase for the first time, and click OK. And that will go ahead and log us into the receiver. Now, in some later videos, I will show how to set up automatic data logging, how to update the firmware, and how to set up an auto base. But for now, in this video, we just wanted to get the connection set up. So to close the connection, you can simply close your web browser there, and then go back down to the bottom where your connections icon is for Windows 10. Click your R8s, click on your R8s again, and choose to disconnect. As soon as you disconnect there, you'll see down at the bottom we've gone back to our Wi-Fi internet connection or your wired connection. Now you don't have to do all that setup the next time. The next time you actually want to connect up to your receiver, you just need to bring it into the office, turn it on, make sure it's within 10 feet or so, and then go down to your connections icon, find your receiver in the list there, left click on it, and then left click again and choose to connect. Choose dial, and then once it opens up the port and connects to your receiver, You will want to go back into the control panel and just check the IP address, make sure it's the same. So I'll go to the control panel. I'll go to the Network Sharing Center. Left click on my R8s and go to the details, and in this case it is the same, 192, 168, 100, and 170. So I'll close that. Close again. I can close the control panel, and then I can just open up my web browser and type in that IP address again. It remembers it from the last time, so I can click on that and then enter in that username and password to connect to the receiver.